All right, the next course of fire we're going to run here in this series, Shoot Their Qualification Course, or Shoot Their Course of Fire, is the Federal Court Security Officer Qualification Course. So, many of you may not know this, but the internal security for federal court systems in our country, that security is contracted out to various vendors. The people that they have to hire have to be former law enforcement and not, I believe, more than 2 years out of their service as a post-qualified law enforcement officer. And once they go through all their background checks and training programs and all this kind of stuff, the screening process they go through with the marshals who govern that system, they are deputized as federal marshals as long as they're on courthouse grounds. So they are deputy marshals. Even though they're private contractors, they are deputized with arrest powers while they're on court premises. Their qualification course is shot on this target. We just call it a TSR2, a Transitional Target 2. I run the qualifications for these guys and for the bulk of the state of Alabama. And this is the target they run it on. And rather than me try to memorize all the course of fire, I'll go ahead and read it out to you. So it's a 50-round course of fire, which is pretty standard for a law enforcement course of fire. On the 3-yard line, they have 5 facings. The first facing, 2 rounds, center mass in 3 seconds. This is center mass. Okay. When scoring this is a 5-point ring. Anywhere inside this lighter blue area is a 4-point ring. And you got 3 points in this medium blue, and the dark blue is the 2-point ring, and anything in the white is no score. If it nicks the line, the way I've always been told, if it nicks the line, you score it at the higher of the 2 colors. So let's say they're shooting and they nick the shoulder here, and it touches the cut of the round, touches the blue, then it's a 2-point. If it was to nick right here between this this color and the medium blue color here, the lighter blue color, then that's going to get the 5-point ring. So you get the higher score of the two colors you count. So center mass is the 5-point ring, the 2 lightest circles. So the first facing, 2 rounds center mass in 3 seconds, 2 rounds center mass in 3 seconds. Then you have to shoot 2 rounds, reload from a magazine, 2 more rounds in 20 seconds, 2 rounds, 3 seconds, 2 rounds, 3 seconds, and it goes to 7 yards. And 7 yards, you sort of do the same type of thing with less facings, okay? So there's 3 facings in the first phase of the 7-yard line. 2 rounds, center mass, 5 seconds, 2 rounds, center mass in 5 seconds, and then you're reloading again. 2 rounds, reload from a magazine, 2 rounds in 20 seconds, okay? Then we move, or stay at the 7-yard line, and then we go into what's called a Mozambique drill or failure drill, 2 in the chest, 1 in the head or the face. And the headshots are at this dotted line or higher inside the lightest color. It's a true face shot, not a headshot, even though it's called a headshot on the course of fire. So first facing, 3 rounds, 2 in the chest, 1 in the face or head in 6 seconds. And then on the second facing, you do it twice. So 2 in the chest, 1 in the face, reload, 2 in the chest, 1 in the face, and you have 20 seconds to do that. And you duplicate that again for the third facing. 2 in the chest, 1 in the face, reload, 2 in the chest, 1 in the face. And you have 1 more facing of doing it once. 2 in the chest, 1 in the face for 6 seconds. And then you move to 15 yards, and it's all center mass from there. 2 rounds center mass, 6 seconds, 2 rounds center mass, 6 seconds, 2 rounds reload, 2 rounds all center mass, 25 seconds. And then 2 rounds, 6 seconds, 2 rounds, 6 seconds, all center mass. So to shoot a perfect score, I don't know, I think 175 is the qualifying score in this course of fire, and they break it down by marksman, sharpshooter, and expert. I can't remember exactly where those lines start and end for that, but so 175 or higher is qualifying, and I believe expert is 245 and up. If you hit everything in the center mass in there, it's 250, and that's considered a distinguished expert, aka perfect score. So without further ado, we'll run the course of fire and see how we do on it.
Okay, we're going to run the Deputy Marshal course of fire for court security. The 2 light center rings are considered center mass, and above the dotted line is headshot.
Got it.
Firing 2 rounds in 3 seconds. Shooter ready.
Time out. At center mass or what? You're good.
Firing 2 rounds, center mass, in 3 seconds. Shooter ready. Draw. 1, 3. Firing 2 rounds, center mass, 3 seconds. Shooter ready. Draw. 1, 3. Firing 2 rounds, center mass, reload, and fire 2 rounds, center mass, within 20 seconds. Shooter ready. Draw. 1, 2, 3, 4, 7. Well under 20 seconds.
Yeah, no sense in counting all the way through that.
Firing 2 rounds, center mass, in 3 seconds. Shooter ready. Draw. 1, 2, 3. Firing 2 rounds, center mass, in 3 seconds. Properly clear and holster weapon. Shooter ready. Draw. 1, 3.
I must have loaded an extra round. All right, we're moving to the 7 yards next, right?
Correct.
I think I need 3 6-round magazines for this. This is the one I think where the headshot is above that dotted line. To say 3 6-round magazines. There's 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
This is a 1 6-round mag with a 2-round mag available for reload.
Okay, got it. All right, good to go.
Firing 2 rounds, center mass, in 5 seconds. Shooter ready. Draw. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Firing 2 rounds, center mass, in 5 seconds. Shooter ready. Draw. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Firing 2 rounds, center mass, reload, and fire 2 rounds, center mass, within 20 seconds. Clear and holster empty weapon. Shooter ready. Draw. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8. Well under 20 seconds.
I'm gonna secure my mags. I think now is when I was supposed to have 3 6-round magazines. Does that make sense?
Correct.
All right, what are we doing here?
2 center mass, 1 head. Firing 3.
All right, I'm good.
Firing 3 rounds, 2 center mass, 1 head, in 6 seconds. Shooter ready. Draw. 1, 2, 3, 5, 6.
Made it.
Firing 3 rounds, 2 center mass, 1 in the head. Reload. Fire 3 rounds, 2 center, 1 head, within 20 seconds. And holster. Shooter ready. Draw. 1, 2, 4, 5, 8, 9. Well within 20 seconds. Firing 3 rounds, 2 center mass, 1 head. Reload and fire 3 rounds, 2 center mass, 1 head within 20 seconds. Shooter ready. Draw. 1, 4, 5, 8, 9. Well under 20 seconds. Firing 3 rounds, 2 center mass, 1 in the head, in 6 seconds. Clear and holster empty weapon. Shooter ready. Draw. 1, 4, 5, 6.
All right, now what do I need to load?
2 6-round mags.
I'm secure mag. It's 15 yards, right?
Correct, 15. Ready.
All right.
Firing 2 rounds, center mass, in 6 seconds. Shooter ready. Draw. 1, 4, 5, 6.
Man, I was counting so much faster in my head. I was like, no, I'm not gonna make this last shot.
Firing 2 rounds, center mass, 6 seconds, shooter ready, draw. 1, 4, 5, 6. Firing 2 rounds, center mass, reload, fire 2 more rounds, center mass within 25 seconds. Shooter ready, draw. 1, 4, 5, 6, 8, 9, 10. Well within 25 seconds. Firing 2 rounds, center mass, in 6 seconds. Shooter ready, draw. 1, 4, 5, 6. Firing 2 rounds, center mass, in 6 seconds. Shooter ready, draw. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Clear? Oh man, so close.
Looks good, huh?
I nicked it, yeah. It's center mass according to the Marshal Service, but yep, dangerously close to not shooting a perfect score. Okay, so you've seen the court security officer, deputy marshal, course of fire. Was really close to not shooting that perfect score, which once again is my goal for all these. I expect to qualify on any of these courses of fire that somebody could put in front of me. So I'm going to hold myself to that, at least attempting to shoot a perfect score. I have ran this qualification for the vast majority of CSOs, court security officers for the Marshals, the state of Alabama for a few years now, at least in the greater metro area. I think it's from Montgomery to Huntsville, I think, is the group of folks that I do the qualifications for a few years. And out of those few years, I've really only had maybe 2 people shoot a perfect score. So it's not a difficult course of fire, but it is one that you have to pay attention to, especially at the 15-yard line, to not pull one. Honestly, the thing that I've seen most people struggle with this course is they jerk a headshot. They got 6 seconds to go 2 in the chest, 1 in the head. They're shooting too slow in the chest shots, and then by the time they get the headshot, they think they've only got a second or 2, even though they probably have 2 or 3. And so the clock gets in their head, which can happen in a qualification course, and jerk the trigger, and they'll either pull it into this dark blue, or a lot of times they'll pull it completely out of that, or they'll drop it from this 5-point ring, which is what the face count says in the course of fire, down into a 4-point shot underneath that dotted line. You can see, once again, everything's where it needs to be, except for this little guy right here, and thankfully it did in fact chip the line there. So if it touches the line, you get the higher point. So I'm halfway in between these 2 colors. Get the higher excuse me, get the higher point of the 2. So got full credit there. Apparently I'm gonna die right here on YouTube. We got the full points for that course of fire. Probably the next course of fire I'll run is the A Post, Alabama course of fire for law enforcement officers. I may have to modify that post in some of the other qualification course because in the Alabama, when you start at 25 yards and you walk in, and while we can do that, I think some of the time for the A Post course of fire is you're walking in and loading your magazines and all that stuff. It's probably just for logistics sake going to be easier just instead of walking to run the targets and do that. So I'll have whoever's running the course of fire move the target as though I'm walking, which will be a much quicker pace than I would walk. So if anything, it's going to make the course of fire more difficult, and I'll just reload as the target walks to me versus me walking to the target. But some of those things based on the indoor range, unless I shoot some of these on the outdoor range and I can move around a little bit more, we'll have to make those kinds of modifications, but it'll always be done in the spirit of obtaining or demonstrating the skill that the course of fire is trying to test for. So there we go. The TSR2 transitional target, federal marshals, deputies, or deputy federal marshal, court security officer, course of fire. See you on the next one.